Fans had come to expect that while there would be some consistency in his core style, new projects would push into deeper territory, more vulnerability, more maturity, more nuance in both subject matter and delivery. Critics, likewise, were looking for whether he had more to say, and whether he could maintain momentum without retreading old ground. Business as Usual was released on September 8, 2025 under A-Reece's own Revenge Club Records. In the weeks preceding the drop, he engaged his audience about whether the EP should come in September or October, a fan's first gesture that reinforced his values of connection and independence. Announcements came via social media channels, including Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, coupled with the cover art rollout. The project is a 9-track EP with a total runtime of approximately 24 minutes and 22 seconds. It includes interludes and an intro, features from Kwazi M, K.Keed, Jody, and KID KAYDENCE, and one bonus track, Sweatshop Freestyle. The EP is clearly not a full studio album but is substantial enough to make a statement, balancing flow, content, features, and emotional weight. Sonically, Business as Usual continues A-Reece's trend of merging classic hip-hop lyricism with subtle inflections of neo-soul and R&B. Instrumentation is neither overblown nor minimal for its own sake, but tends to give him space to reflect and deliver. Beats often use luxurious keys, evocative samples, layered production that supports but doesn't overshadow. There are instrumental interludes, solo interlude, and moments of reflection that create breathing space. Compared to past work, there is a move toward more restraint, less overt flash, more depth. Fans had come to expect that while there would be some consistency in his core style, new projects would push into deeper territory, more vulnerability, more maturity, more nuance in both subject matter and delivery. Critics, likewise, were looking for whether he had more to say, and whether he could maintain momentum without retreading old ground. Business as Usual was released on September 8, 2025 under A-Reece's own Revenge Club Records. In the weeks preceding the drop, he engaged his audience about whether the EP should come in September or October, a fan's first gesture that reinforced his values of connection and independence. Announcements came via social media channels, including Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, coupled with the cover art rollout. The project is a 9-track EP with a total runtime of approximately 24 minutes and 22 seconds. It includes interludes and an intro, features from Kwazi M, K.Keed, Jody, and KID KAYDENCE, and one bonus track, Sweatshop Freestyle. The EP is clearly not a full studio album but is substantial enough to make a statement, balancing flow, content, features, and emotional weight. Sonically, Business as Usual continues A-Reece's trend of merging classic hip-hop lyricism with subtle inflections of neo-soul and R&B. Instrumentation is neither overblown nor minimal for its own sake, but tends to give him space to reflect and deliver. Beats often use luxurious keys, evocative samples, layered production that supports but doesn't overshadow. There are instrumental interludes, solo interlude, and moments of reflection that create breathing space. Compared to past work, there is a move toward more restraint, less overt flash, more depth. This is not to say the energy is gone. When he wants to flex, he still does, but the EP shows that A-Reece is less interested in simply showing what he can do, and more in showing what he's been through, what he cares about now. Though not all producer credits are fully detailed in public sources, the cohesion of sound suggests a careful curation of collaborators and beats to match themes of fatherhood, identity, loss, fame, introspection, and legacy. At the core of Business as Usual are themes that signal maturity, fatherhood, family, identity, loss, ambition, and remaining true to self despite scrutiny and struggle. In Scented Candles / Well Done, Dada A-Reece reflects on the legacy of his father, on parenthood, and on what it means to balance family and artistry. In Losses he contrasts past pain, being broke, feeling anxious, with current success, but also with the weight that comes with those changes. There is an emotional tone that is often introspective, vulnerable, even confessional. It's not always braggadocio or boastful, though those elements appear too inappropriate. That shift of perspective, less about proving, more about understanding, is one of the marks of artistic maturity here. The moments on the EP where he slows down, pauses for an interlude, or turns inward show he is not only aware of his own growth but wrestling with it, using his art to map it out. Scented Candles / Well Done, Dada emerges as a centerpiece. Its lyrical content, its production, its emotional gravity make it feel like the heart of the EP. It's a song where A-Reece bridges past and present, loss and new life, acknowledging the absence of his father, celebrating the role of his mother, and reflecting on his own fatherhood. Losses stands out too for succinct yet powerful contrast of hardship and success, articulating what being rich or successful doesn't always solve. So Much, featuring Kwazi M, shows him reaffirming commitment to honesty in craft, refusing to compromise, tethering himself to music and purpose. IDJF with K.Keed, Jody and Filet Mignon with KID KAYDENCE display collaborations that complement more personal tracks. These balance the EP's emotional core with variety. The interludes and the intro allow these tracks to land more deeply. The sequencing ensures the emotional moments breathe rather than just stringing one hard song after another. The EP feels like a unified project with a clear sense of direction. It opens with an intro, moves through songs that assert identity and ambition, peels back for reflection, reaches emotional peaks, and then closes with something that feels like both conclusion and foreshadowing. Transitions, especially via interludes, are handled well so that the weight of certain tracks is felt more strongly. There is pacing in the EP, no song feels randomly inserted, each has its role, whether to warm up, to accelerate, to reflect, to confront. Mood shifts are present but not jarring, thematic through lines, father, self, cost of success, pull everything together. Compared to P2, the big-hearted bad guy and earlier mixtapes/EPs, business as usual is leaner and more focused. Where earlier works had broader sonic experiments or larger track lists, here A-Reece channels his energies into fewer tracks, but each feels more sharpened. Lyrically he seems more comfortable being vulnerable, less almost theatrical, more intimate. Productionally his sound has become more polished without losing emotional grit. In terms of growth, there's a shift from outward statements of ambition to inward reckoning of identity and consequence. If you are enjoying this video up to this point, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, that helps me a lot, thank you. Immediate fan reaction has been strong. Emotional resonance is what many listeners emphasize, especially on tracks like Scented Candles/Well Done, Dada and Losses. On social media, users have noted how the EP feels like A-Reece stepping into a new stage of life more than merely releasing songs. Listener comments praise a greater depth, expressive honesty. Critics have generally lauded his maturity and consistency, recognizing that A-Reece managed to keep what people love about him, his flows, wordplay, sincerity, while stretching into more personal territory. Some criticism is inevitable. In some quarters people suggest that a few tracks could have pushed further in production or that there are moments of thematic repetition, but these are mild critiques relative to the overall strengths. Within hours of release, business as usual shot to #1 on Apple Music's All Genres chart in South Africa. It broke records for first-day streams on Spotify South Africa, making it the biggest first-day debut for a hip-hop artist in SA for 2025 so far. All 9 tracks have placed inside the top 10 on Apple Music SA hip-hop/rap charts. The EP also reportedly became the fastest album/EP release of 2025 so far to debut at #1 on the SA Apple Music album chart. These figures underscore not only A-Reece's strong fanbase but how well his independent infrastructure, label, release strategy, fan engagement is operating. Revenge Club Records, A-Reece's own label platform, plays a central role in how business as usual was made, promoted, and released. Independence allows him more control over timing, the poll with fans over release window, artistic decisions, track list, features, and financial stakes. It also shapes how authentic listeners see the work, not as a product of label demands as much as personal expression. The fans' first approach reinforces not only loyalty but also ensures that the release feels communal rather than top-down. Financially and creatively, this independence seems to pay off here. Strong streaming, strong charting, strong emotional connection. In a landscape where commercial trends sometimes favor sound over substance, business as usual reinforces that hip-hop with lyrical depth, with personal stories and emotional reflection, still resonates powerfully in South Africa. It also offers representation of life beyond youthful ambition or material aspiration. Its reflections on fatherhood, losses, identity allow more nuanced stories from Black South African life. Listeners who may have experienced grief, responsibility, societal expectation, or simply the burden of growth find in A-Reece something that speaks to them. The connection feels deeper than mere entertainment. It leans into art as catharsis and community witness. Promotion around the EP, from social media posts to the cover art, has maintained a clean, polished aesthetic. The artwork and visual branding feel aligned with the mood of the music, serious, contemplative, not flashy in excess but also not minimalist to the point of coldness. The polling of fans, the cover reveal, and announcement posts all contributed to a build-up that felt deliberate, not overwhelming, but intentional. The aesthetic supports the themes of the EP by giving the listener space to focus on content. Emotion, voice, while overwhelmingly positive, some critiques are possible. At under 25 minutes and with 9 tracks, some quite short, including interludes, some listeners may wish for more length or more sonic risk. A few may argue that the EP leans into familiar tropes of hip-hop introspection and success/failure, which A-Reece has explored before, hence the risk of thematic repetition. Others would like to see more surprising collaborations or more diversity in production style or sound palette. Also, balancing the personal and the performance is always delicate. Vulnerability sometimes opens the artist to scrutiny or expectation that all future work must top this emotional depth. Business as usual feels like a bridge from where he has been toward what he might become. It positions him solidly for bigger international attention, more ambitious projects, possibly tours or shows that highlight not just crowd pull but storytelling capacity. It suggests that his future work might continue this trend of inward examination, possibly deeper concept work, possibly longer projects, possibly forays into other art forms or collaboration fields with producers, singers that supplement the core hip-hop. It also means that fans expect that he won't settle. They will anticipate that growth and maturity. Business as usual is a strong and coherent EP that underscores A-Reece's maturation as both a man and an artist. Its strengths lie in emotional honesty, lyrical sharpness, and the balance between assertion and vulnerability. While it does not radically reinvent his sound, it refines it, makes it clearer what he stands for in 2025, and what he might stand for going forward. What will be remembered is likely this, that business as usual wasn't just another release, but a marker that in his career, A-Reece is no longer just proving himself, he's reflecting, accepting responsibility, and building legacy. There remain places to grow, longer sonic adventures, more experimental production, deeper risk, but for now this EP stands as a moment of clarity, strength, and another factor that solidifies A-Reece